Sean O'Malley and Tim discuss the notion of the brawl between the Strickland and the Duplessis being staged, seen Sean O'Malley not think the UFC want that going on in the crowd of the event, despite many people thinks it's been set up, even though we already know it's all been set up by the UFC president Dana White, and he confesses it on the post-fight press conference on the UFC 296.
I asked Gilbert Burns' kids to move, jumped over, and threw some shots. It was weird because it didn't, like, it's weird when you think of two professional fighters, you think it's gonna be, but it was like, it looked like a street fight. Like, obviously it's in not, like the way he was punching, it wasn't like he was trying to do damage. It was like he was
I think
a rookie.
Dreykus was in on a shot. It's like you can't really punch.
Oh,
Surprised he wasn't elbowing the back of his head a little bit more.
That's what I'm saying.
Schwab and a bunch of people were saying that it was staged. I'm like,
no, Sean Strickland is not smart enough to stage something.
you really think that Sean Strickland's gonna talk to the UFC, be like, okay, act pissed, tell those
Well,
guys
if it was
to move.
staged, it wouldn't be staged with the UFC. UFC, I truly don't think UFC like wants that to happen at events. That is not where,
sure.
like, yeah, he uses it as promotion, but if they could pick, if Dana could pick, it's like, no, I don't want that shit going on. He has so much to deal with, so much to think about during a fight night that he doesn't want that shit happening. Secret Service Trump, it's like, that is not something he wants happening.
Do you see Dana? He sets it up.
Yeah, he puts the seating arrangement together every single fight.
That's what's cool about Dana too. He's not like, yeah, Strickland's gonna get punished, Dreykus gonna get punished. He's like, that was my fault.
Yeah.
Any good leader will take ownership. And he's like, that was my fault, my up. No, they're not gonna get punishment because that was my fault.
Micah Chandler have some words for the Colby Covington. Chandler recently made an appearance on the STO Wild podcast where he slammed Covington's character and hilariously mocked the UFC 296 performance.
For a guy who talks about everyone being triggered, he sure was afraid to pull the trigger. And then I also said if his offense tonight was an accurate depiction of U.S. strength, we would have never gained our independence, lost World War I, and got demoralized in World War II. Now, I only say that because I don't like to talk a lot of trash, and never do I ever want to step on a guy when he's down after he loses, right? Because I hate when people do that to me. We all hate it. But whenever you've created such a fake character, like you've become the character, it's like, well, I'm not actually hating on Colby Covington, the heartbeat, the guy outside of just the fighting. You're hating on the character, just like it's WWE. And funny thing is, I think he crossed the line. I think he's I don't know, he's not my style. I think he and I might actually agree on a decent amount of things, but I think his delivery is just asinine. Yeah, I mean, there's a line you won't cross. There's a line you won't let your character cross. You know, just like there could be like actual actors who are like, hey, I'm an actor and I'll do anything in this fantasy world that we call, you know, film, but I have a certain things that I don't want to do on camera or whatever. Like I don't know. It's he and I are not. I've actually never spoken a word to the guy, but I do have mutual friends who are like, oh, I swear he's a nice guy. I'm like,